Sword rise in priority all across the globe. It's such a good top laner right now. Just strong in lane, scales insanely well, poses such an insane threat. So,
do you see what I see?
Let's see what
it's Foggy Diana.
It is, and look at his runes. I'm already intrigued. Is it gonna be Heartsteel? Is it gonna be Heartsteel Diana? I'm ready for Heartsteel Diana. I'm so ready for Heartsteel Diana.
Some tanky build at least, like maybe even Demonic Embrace, Nashor's or something. Afterwards, I mean that's similar to what we see, with what we have seen yesterday from the cannon from Hero, where he actually went the Heartsteel Demonic Embrace Zonia's item build on the cannon in the top lane, which had like no direct success, but it also didn't look too horrible. So let's wait and see what Frog is really doing here as we are loading onto the Rift. Other wound choice pretty standard, I gotta say. Like I have seen more electrocuted donks than First Strike, but First Strike, of course, in the range for this melee matchup makes a lot of sense. So that's something that, of course, is workable for the side of Nubu here.
Yeah, and Diana against LeBlanc is in lane doesn't really strike me as too interesting, I'd say, because Diana has the W to kind of negate the damage. But I feel like Diana could really get punished by LeBlanc and Lee Sin working together, especially approaching level 6 and stuff, because Diana, as I said before, no defensive mobility, right? Like her E is only to go in, you can't really dash out unless there's a minion behind you, which, why would there be? Because we have a bit of a bottom lane. So yeah, I feel like this Diana needs to be very careful when it comes to level 6 between mid and jungle. Those two can certainly put some hurt on her.
Yeah, and I need to stress again how I like this Malphite pickup. I mean, even against the Diana, right? Just being one of those options to really work against other tech champions. So that's definitely an option that could work out here. As we a bit of a trade in the bot lane just now again with the 2x2 and the dive being missing. Fight continuing, and actually the flash being forced by the side of Zodiac. Or it's actually the ignite and the ghost being down on their bot lane. And yeah, Agi burning his summoner spells, but also getting 2 on the other side.
Very interesting little trade there. A bit risky from Taki to go in, but they didn't really have the counter damage. If there's a bit more damage on Zodiac and Slows, Taki kinda dead, because he already committed Flash and his W. So now he has to be a bit more careful, especially with only a Kull on the Zeri. Now Kull Zeri is actually not weak in lane early on, but in a few levels the Zarya is definitely gonna outtrade her quite heavily, as we have a bit of a jungle clash, and Guri, oh, he gets the camp.
Gets him, as we see both junglers really facing off. Yeah, Sonic Wave landing, but of course not really follow-up to be really seen there. And in the mid lane, it's just Foggy pushing up this wave. Actually, kind of having a good laning phase for himself in the melee versus range matchup for now. But of course, Diana, you said it before, right? The Pale Cascade being one of those spells that can really nullify any poke damage coming from the LeBlanc. So Foggy is quite healthy, and I don't think he will get any less healthy with this grasp itemization choice, or wound choice rather. I don't think he gets to pocket much against the range champion for now, but the longer this game goes, he can get more confident and actually nullify even more of the damage coming through from Nugu. So Nugu has a hard time. He has to win this lane somehow, or in general, Box Esports has to play like a win lane, win game style. I like that draft in general, but so far it's not looking too good. They're just mechanically outclassed to some extent. We also see Sunma in the top lane, right? So far down against Husky right now. 2 Durance rings. That is some commitment to laning phase. If he still loses lane after 2 Durance rings into tier sword start, that is really detrimental to him. I actually, looking at the setup for Froggy, I kind of expect him to try and match Malphite later on in the game. So he just wants the melee trades into Malphite with the grasp and just building AP, so Malphite is forced into some MR. I feel like that could be the angle here for the Diana, where you neutralize laning phase, because Diana is just perma-push into LeBlanc, so LeBlanc can't really hurt her too much. And then in the mid-game you send the Jace with the team into the mid lane, and Diana goes into the side lane to catch waves against Malphite. If they play it like that, I would actually really like to see Froggy excel in the side lane on the Diana. Yeah, and just now we see Gui potentially going for this weapon gang on the top side. Some already being pretty far down. Good knock-up angle from the side of Husband, and he forces the flash, might just follow up the play with a body slam as well, and they get first blood, shock blast landing, and that's a dead Malphite. Oh, I didn't expect him to die there. Quite a lot of damage between the two of them. Yeah, actually, yes. I mean, 2 Doran's items, just a bit of an HP bull difference, but I mean, the difference maker was really Husband just, I think, going for this good to this guy's sideways knockback there to really get the Malphite into the lane, and then there's just a lot of space to cover, a lot of room to walk for the side of Thunder, and they just had enough time to really kill him there with all the spells being up on the side of the Gragas.
And I think a really, really good gank, because as we pointed out, Malphite built for lane there with the double Doran, so he should be able to at least sustain himself in the laning phase. But if you kill him, now he's even farther behind. Look at him, he's 20 CS down. Enemy top laner is now sitting on tier plus Hex Drink, actually. Interesting choice there for Hasmid. I feel like Hasmid is also already looking at a potential lane swap, where Hex Drinker will really make a big difference into the trades of LeBlanc, but so far he's just going back to top lane, and now Malphite cannot touch him whatsoever. There's no kill potential ever in this lane, and I feel, whoa, that is not the screen we want to see. Okay.
Nice one, Observer. Either way, I think the Hexbringer is very interesting, because I want to hate it, but I actually can't hate it, because both against Malphite and against LeBlanc, it just nullifies any potential damage output there. I mean, we just don't see seismic sharpness from it. Yeah, deals a bit of a trick, but it's the kind of thing with combat method. You actually build it to poke the Jace out of the lane. You are supposed to win that lane, and the Hexbringer just nullifies that completely. And he could go more aggressive, right? He could just go straight to Dirk and just go for more aggressive options to really get the early lethality going on. But he really doesn't need to right now, so might as well just go for this one, and potentially for the lane swap, it would also be a good option, right?
I feel like straight to Dirk into Malphite always feels better. Nice flash. Easily done. Hasmid should be fine, but now Guri is here to collapse. Can they counter gank?
I think they can't. They can just walk out either way. Speaking about this Gragas performance, I mean, you were not liking the Gragas pickup much, and yeah, let's wait and see how Guri really plays it out. I mean, the first gank was already something that might just go more onto the convincing side, I gotta say, as we have seen this one. Guri now level 5, approaching level 6. If he finishes some more camps here in this enemy jungle, possibly, but there's not really anything to grab here. So he currently just looking to fish maybe for a gank opportunity, but doesn't find anything in the mid lane. His laner also not being present, of course, means he just goes back to farming. His whole bot side jungle is available for that. And for now, Saigon and Buffalo having pretty smooth sailing, right? They are scaling composition. They are not even losing their lanes right now. Just Froggy by a tiny bit, but it's just basically by a hair. In the melee versus range matchup, exactly that's what you would expect there.
Yeah, and so much sustain on Froggy now, building towards it might actually be
Abyssal Mask, right?
Abyssal Mask, yeah. I'm not entirely sure this is going to be a Rod of Ages. It looks like a Rod of Ages, but it might be Abyssal Mask here. It's Froggy. We need to wait for him to finish the dish. We can never predict what he's cooking. So,
yeah, that second ruby crystal, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Usually, if you go what, you rush what, and that would mean he just doesn't buy it and just waits for the blasting one. He probably didn't have the money for it. Actually, buying this ruby crystal means for me that he will go for the Abyssal Mask option, yes.
Yeah, and I think it's very likely as well.
From Gui on the full AP Gragas.
Yeah, and he does have the damage on the other team members to afford going full tank, so I feel like this actually makes a lot of sense. Just pick Diana to completely take mid lane out of the equation. The enemy team built a mid-jungle composition centered around LeBlanc and Lee Sin, and then you just pick something that completely negates mid lane laning phase and gank opportunities whatsoever, because you just perma push and you're super tanky, so it's hard to kill you. I actually quite like this style of composition. Makes use of their big side lane advantages. As you can see, Shogun and Taki dominating this laning phase from start to finish. CS, they're up in CS. Okay, it's going to be rather equalized here. But we actually have a bit of a fight in the bot lane. There was ult from Shogun used, I believe.
I think Shogun was the one not ulting, right? The box Esports bottom was actually one
his ult was
actually, it was both. As we see Hasmid actually falling prey to Tommy. I mean, the Hexwinker doesn't give you any stats for the Lee Sin fight, of course, and Lee Sin in the early game still to be respected, especially in the all-in, as you will see the bot lane clash being out, Zodiac letting the Zenith play, but doesn't really get the follow-up needed by the side of Slows, who also uses his Ghost and his Flash because Guri is around, and he's level 6 right now. He wants to go for this one. Also, Taki going deep with the Abyssal Dive over there.
Taki!
Flash, Tongue Lash is there, but they can't quite get the killer, can they? Flash with the barrel and they get the first one. Do they get the second as well? They absolutely do. Double kill for Gui, and this Gragas is online.
Oh, that's such a huge swing for Saigon Buffalo. They get everything they wanted. Okay, they lost their top laner, but who cares? They got 2 platings out of this play and 2 kills to their jungler, who's now so accelerated. He's going to be insanely strong for mid-game fights. Oh, this is going sideways from MBE in such record time. 2k gold behind already. They lost the first dragon, and the Herald is not going to equalize the gold either. So Saigon Buffalo off to an amazing start. Let's have another look at this one. Hasmet is a level ahead. He expects to win against Tom Rio, but he gets just completely outplayed. Yeah.
Yeah, the full combo from Lee Sin always hurts, especially the execute damage from the resonating strike, right? And if he can just land all his skills, the Jace just died. That's just the unfortunate reality, especially with his item build choices he went. I don't want to say the item choice is wrong or anything, but if he itemizes like this, he can't afford to play this 1v1. But he gets the revenge in the picture, as we see it right there.
What is Tom Rio doing over
there?
They're
probably fine for him.
Tom Rio just wandering underneath enemy tower, tried to solo dive Hasmet, it looked like, but unfortunately the frog showed up and killed him instantly, so that's a kill back to Hasmet. 4-1 in kills now. Saigon Buffalo on the second to last, showing the split, actually looking like a top tier team. A bit late, my Buffaloes. Why? Oh, and Shogun, this was risky.
Yeah, it is, but then Blade not connecting, so he is fine for now and can just grab the wave and also push them off in the 1v2, also forcing the solar flare. Oh, I don't think that was needed by Set of Zodiac, but actually, yeah, kudos to Saigon Buffalo in general. However, I mean, they play box esports, looking like a top team versus them. It's like not the standard we should really measure them to. As they are, of course, having a very good game. As here we see the replay of the play we missed due to the other replay happening. It's Tomio. I mean, he has the Herald recall. I understand him going for this recall, but might just be a bit overwhelming.
is actually 2 levels up on Guri.
He chooses to go for it.
Yeah,
That's actually mad.
Yeah, he's 2 levels up on Guri. I mean, if he lands the Q there, he gets the kill on Guri. So actually, I don't hate the play too much. He got the Gromp, so that's a steal already. He got on top of Guri pretty easily. Yikes. We don't talk about... What in the world is that? Okay. Interesting little observer bug, because Shogun was not on the map, but somehow stayed visible. But whatever, it doesn't matter. First tower actually going over to MBE. They took the Herald and put it to good use in the top lane to somewhat get back into the game. Actually, look at the gold. This was a huge swing.
It really was, because they won on both sides of the map. As here we see again what happened in the top side. Just a clean dive, executed by Tomio and Sunma. Of course, you can easily tank this turret for half an hour. And then the other side, of course, Gui, yeah, making it a little bit more looking like VCS Gragas with going for the fail dive play. And then thus donating the gold to the side of Box Esports, who are now not equaling gold, because there was another swing to the sides of Saigon Buffalo. And they were, I think, grabbing some plate money or something on the other side of the map in the meantime. But of course, in general, Box Esports now a little bit stabilizing at least. However, I addressed this earlier, they should be able to snowball this game, and so far, it's still not looking too hot in this direction. Here we see what the hell Gui just did there. I think they disrespected the Feather Storm. Cast is going out.
Oh,
unlucky.
Okay, I mean, that was like centimeters off hitting the mark on Slows. I mean, Slows still had ultimate, so it was still a bit foolish from the side of Guri to expect to get the kill there, but Slows was playing with fire. If he's 1 pixel to the top of where he actually ended up, he probably insta-dies to the already awaiting barrel on the ground. So a bit lucky, maybe you could argue for Slows, but in the end, a really good comeback play. And this game is much closer than it was 5 minutes ago. MBE with a fighting chance now.
And it was Saigon Buffalo trying to dive a Featherstorm Zaya without a wave. That was a bit greedy, as here we see the next 3v3 maybe in the bot lane. With the Zenith landing explosive cast, kind of disrupting the members from Box Esports. Exhaust on Tommy, who went in with the resonating strike, and it actually not following up to anything, as they, however, start off this Drake. Another thing I want to address, the item build from Foggy. He's kind of building everything at once right now. I think he just sits on the Catalyst and just now finishes Demonic Embrace, because he isn't really rushing the ward, which is a weird decision in general. But for now, I think he just needs a Catalyst for the laning phase, and then wants to prolong it further against the LeBlanc to really just survive the damage. As Box Esports get the reward, get this Drake on their side, and equalize the Drake score.
Yeah, and I feel like MB showing some really good signs here. Early on in the season, I think they would just have bled out at this point and just lost the dragon. But instead, they keep being proactive, and here's another kill. Nicely done.
Yeah, VCS Gragas may be coming online in this game, in a sad way, of course. I mean, that's the difference between full AP Gragas and what we usually see in the top lane, right? They usually have resources to just at least survive the initial combination from something like Lee Sin. Gui absolutely can't. If he gets hit by something, he just dies, and that's what we have seen just there. He dies, the turret dies as well. They have traded the top lane T1 turret early on, as Hasmet was taking business of this one. So gold now very close to even actually. Saigon Buffalo with a small lead, but not a very decisive lead for now.
Yeah, and in terms of team fighting, it's way easier to execute MBE's comp for now, I'd say, because Malphite is always just the big go button. Their Lee Sin is so strong that he can actually be a very aggressive bruiser in fights right now. He's not going to die that quickly at this point in the game with the Zeri only on one item, so those two can really... Okay, that's a lot of damage on Shogun. He should be fine though. But yeah, those two on the top side can really dictate the start of the fight, and much better so than Guri and Hasmid. Though Hasmid is very far ahead in gold, he still has to play carefully, right? He's a Jace after all. He's building squishy items. He's going to deal a decent amount of damage, but he can also die if he oversteps. So in terms of execution, or ease of execution, I should say, MBE with a little bit of an advantage in straight up 5v5 team fights.
Absolutely. As however, the Rift Herald now being started by the side of Box Esports. And no real direct reaction by the side of SGB. Actually, I think I like the Eclipse on the Jace because at least it gives like the little shield a little bit of pseudo tankiness, so to say. But the Rift Herald can of course be secured, and I think they still want to have like a revenge fight on the side of Saigon Buffalo to just go for the place here. As a very deep dive by the side of Frog with the Moonfall, and Shogun opposite with the first kill, the Lightning Crash being there. They actually get the kill to Zodiac. Now dives deeply onto its Tomio, which would be a very juicy shutdown. Shutdown actually goes for him. Shogun definitely rocking this fight for now, and Box Esports on the retreat didn't get a single kill, didn't even try to go for anything. Wanted to take the Herald out, and they absolutely can't have that one.
Ooh. Whoever gets to the objective first loses, it seems. For now, Saigon Buffalo with a really nice collapse. And this is the power of playing very tanky Diana. She's not there to deal damage. She's there to set up the fight, to be the initiator of the fight, to keep everyone in place so Shogun can excel in the fight and actually get all the kills. That's 2 kills into the Zeri that was already ahead in terms of CS and gold. So she's accelerated on a build path towards item number 3. And Froggy, just look at how tanky he is. He's the main frontliner, then also gets saved by Taki, of course. So even more shielding. And Froggy just above 50% HP after the fight, after he tanked 5 members of the enemy team.
Yeah, and they actually managed to not kill the TPing out one on this side of Box Esports. Yeah, that's the thing with Diana, right? She can't really one-shot you anymore with this item build, but she's still such a huge disruption. Like with the CC, she can just go into anything and doesn't have to fear just getting blown up by anything. And if she actually plays like a melee duel against someone like the Zarya, she would actually win those at this point of the game still, because the ADCs aren't there with their mid-game power spikes yet, while she absolutely is so far. And Shogun just say thank you, right? He can just easily work with all the tools he has in his arsenal and just clean up those kills. You just now address it, right? He actually ended this fight with more than half of his HP while still being intact, and that's something that really shouldn't happen with these ADCs in those fights usually. But for Saigon Buffalo, they are cooking something special, but absolutely, it seems to be a tasty dish so far.
And it's a bit frustrating as a long-time Saigon Buffalo supporter to see them do this when they're already out of playoff contention. And this was always the strength of this team, of Froggy teams in general, to find something spicy, to find a different approach to team fighting, to make use of Froggy's very special skill set. He's one of the best melee mid laners I've seen play. He's amazing on Yona, on Aurelia, and all those champions that kind of fight a little bit differently. And now he pulls out the Diana, but the game is not really for much anymore, as Hasmid just dies.
Yeah, Unsolvable Force being landed, and Slows should just be able to close it out, and he actually can. Blade Caller being there. One pickup on the side of Box Esports, and Hasmid a bit overextending, but there is a crossbar play happening. Nugu being very low, but that's just the clone. Don't get baited by that one. As the main Nugu is escaping towards the bottom side, they might just chase for him, but instead they chase for the bigger reward, which will be this just now spawning Cloud Drake, and there's no way that Box Esports can contest this one.
In the end, the dragon is more important. Back on track to their Dragon Soul now is Saigon Buffalo, giving up the second one. Maybe could have fought for that earlier, but at least they're now back onto the 4-Dragon snowball condition later on. And with their composition, I mean, Diana with extra movement speed sounds really pesky to play against. She can just chase and keep to you with all her damage. If she goes into Sunfire and stuff like that, W Sunfire, that's so much burn damage just by being right next to you. Let's see what Froggy decides to go for. She could also just go Nashers and stick to you with even more auto-attack damage. So I feel like this extra movement speed is gonna come in very handy for Froggy especially, to chase down people like Slows and even Nugu. So let's see what they're gonna do with their Dragon Soul later, if they ever get to a point where they get the Dragon Soul. For now, the game's still pretty even, but Crincy, I'm a bit worried looking at the mid lane. You talked about the snowballing potential, or the need to snowball even. And Nugu, not really been in this game at all. He's a passenger so far.
Yeah, he kind of just happens to be there, right?
Yeah.
A few CS down, a few assists down to Foggy, you can just look at him funny and maybe deal 20% of his HP, but with his full combo, which is not what LeBlanc really wants to do. The thing with LeBlanc, however, is she still has this assassination potential, even if she doesn't snowball against those super squishy targets. I think against Hasped it would probably already be over, as he has the Hexwinker, he has the Eclipse, so as long as he can at least fire back a little bit, he would be able to have a second shield against him. There's still like a small potential to just blow up GUI if he just finds him with his chains. But if GUI plays correctly, it also shouldn't be that possible. So,
okay,
kind of just fishing for the lucky play. As you will see, this mid lane tier 1 skirmish going on. TP also coming out, as well as an exhaust onto its Nugu. He can still further that one. And Taki burning both his summoner spells. Taki kind of being caught in that situation. And I think just one TP is not enough for the side of Saigon Buffalo. A little bit of a sleeper on this side.
I mean, to be fair though, Tom Rio also flashed and used Kick Flash to get Taki into his team, so it's a trade of flashes between Tom Rio and Taki, and I feel like that's a decent trade, because now Tom Rio is missing that extra playmaking opportunity to maybe get on top of someone like Shogun, who's extra safe with Cleanse and Flash still available to him. So next Dragon fight already looking a little bit rough without that playmaking potential available to MBE. They might have to concede yet another objective in 2.5 minutes.
If you just see Nugu TPing out of this situation because he was
he was so
be the one getting collapsed on. This kind of spells demise to me, because I think he could just weak over there. And there's also one playmaking potential being gone, a potential TP flank from LeBlanc. Of course, it doesn't sound as scary as a Malphite TP flanking, but still, LeBlanc, of course, one of those champions that can still destroy you if you are getting caught out in the wrong position. So that's just Box Esports losing another tool, and I think respecting Saigon Buffalo a tad too much. I think it isn't as doomed as they maybe themselves think it is. So for them, just though the Baron setup being started beside of Saigon Buffalo, and just some vision fights as we are used to see them. GUI is in the flank, so he can go for the play.
No.
Huge explosive cast coming out, they actually get Nugu down, and Shogun forcing the flank out of him, and Forgy actually netting the kill on towards him as Taki goes very, very low. Someone there with the Unstoppable Force, but he just hits Taki, that's not enough. Moonfall coming out, Hasped with the second kill, Sunman
it's a disaster!
Dying, as well as the flash play, Shogun going for another play, and actually killing a Zodiac in this one, and Tomio might also fall. That's a double kill for Shogun, only slows alive as he watches his team fall to the ground. This will be the T2 to it being taken on the side of Saigon Buffalo, but actually not. They might just turn for the Baron.
Oh, it's a complete disaster for the side of MBE. They just missed the mark on a few kills, very overly focused on Taki, which in principle is good to kill the safety net under Shogun and just make him a little bit more accessible. But if you blow everything on just the support, you obviously can't win the fight. Nice try from Slows. Nice try, but not quite enough. Hasped a bit strong.
Hasped just stronger than him. What can you really say?
Yep.
Artemis would have won that one. Just kidding. Either way, very good GUI play here. Body slam into Cask, and Nugu just now has to go for those more scraps. His TP was already down, but that doesn't really matter. As you will see, Unstoppable Force onto Taki. But if you only kill Taki, it's not enough, right? He has to more people there if he's Malphite. Otherwise, in general, you can just ult out one target, but this one, not really going to many fruition, as Shogun can just easily clean this fight up. It's just Zeri being untouched, right? What can you really do?
Yeah, also the Malphite ultimate in the fight really not optimal there. Just a bit of tunnel vision onto Taki, which really did not pay off for them. And now, once again, Saigon Buffalo in a commanding position with the Baron. I think Shogun also finished his third item here, so he's now a very, very respectable Zeri player. Yeah, 650 gold on his hand as a bounty. Froggy looked stronger than he should be, looking at his items. He didn't even have 2 items in the fight. He still dealt so much damage. So the more I look at this composition, the more I like what I'm seeing. I feel like it's setting up Shogun in a way that they haven't done much of in this whole split so far, which is just create so much space with other annoying champions that Shogun can kind of do whatever he wants, just by virtue of the enemy team not having that much control to think about everyone in the team. But here we go
Yeah,
again.
the fight commands as well again. Absorbable Force, the deep dive as well as the sword of flip from Zodiac just now following up. But the kills absolutely come in by the side of Saigon Buffalo. Box just really doesn't have the
Nugu?
damage for it. There's a double kill coming by Nugu, but this probably won't be more as now Shogun is lighting, just goes for the chase, can't really get the kills, but absolutely can get the structures as his inhibitor to it, and inhibitor is falling down. In the mid lane, the same might happen. But this fight actually not as bad as I expected it to be. Close, however, goes in. Blade Caller kind of saving his life.
Actually, not a bad fight, as you said. MBE gets the 2 for 2, 2 kills on Nugu. Might propel him to the next item, maybe get into range to one-shot someone like Husmid, even though he has the Hex Drinker, of course. But a bit of gold onto the Assassin. Not the worst. They're still 8k gold down and lost their first inhibitor of the game, with Dragon coming up or already on the map. Should just mean Saigon Buffalo gets an even bigger lead. Look at Tom Rio. 10 minutes ago, he would have been able to one-shot Shogun, but now Shogun is level 14. He's tanky enough to just walk away from the Lee Sin. Lee Sin is isolated on the other side. He did manage to kind of get Shogun out of the fight, to be fair, because Shogun was occupied running away from the Lee Sin and being scared. So maybe that was also one of the reasons why MB was able to win on the other side, but that's not going to happen again if you fight on even terms or just normal ground, like mid lane. So that was almost the best situation possible for MBE, and was only a 2 for 2. I can't really see them winning any teamfights anymore.
Yeah, not really. I think Shogun could have played it a tad more aggressive even, because he was respecting Tomio very much by not really dropping even down below shield bow HP bar. And actually, just now, Foggy being stunned off, but he doesn't really care. Moonfall still coming out for a little bit of a chunk, but not really mattering too much. Might have been a little bit of a fat finger on his side. And also Husmid's acceleration grade not really being placed ideally. Otherwise, he might just have finished off slows with the Empowered Shockblast over there. Either way, Saigon Buffalo probably still happy, even with that bad fight. It is a 2 for 2 from far ahead, which is not enough for them in general, but they still get the legs, they still get the structures, right? So it's probably fine for them. The base is now left open, mid inhibitor is exposed, and they might just keep sieging. Box Esports can't really pressure them too much.
Yeah, Box Esports now in desperation territory, firmly, and maybe a combo of Tom Rio, Zodiac, and Sunmer can do something against Shogun. He does have the cleanse, though, so it's not going to be easy. You have to try something, though. The engage tools are there. Sure, you don't have the same DPS as the enemy team, and you're just going to lose long team fights, but maybe you can eliminate one of the main carries quickly, and then go from there. Those does have 2 items under his belt as well, maybe even going on 3, so there is some decent finishing potential on slows as well. So I want to see one more Hail Mary, just go on top of Shogun, try to kill him, and see where you can go from there.
Yeah, my eyes are actually onto Gui because he has his Flash available, and we know Flash Body Slam doesn't really have much counterplay, and you can easily follow it up with a potential explosive cast to just easily disrupt all members of Box Esports. But for now, they're kind of chilling. I mean, there's no need to rush on the side of Saigon Buffalo, right? They are so far ahead, they are firing lots of limits. It is potential soul point for them, or they already are on soul point. It is a soul for them potentially in 3 minutes, and the Baron spawning in a bit more than 1 minute, so they might just regroup, spend all the gold they just got from all those pushes. There must have been a lot of standing gold picked up for them, so they also just need to use the gold advantage they really have on the map and just regroup for potential Baron. They downed the bot inhibitor, which is far away from the Baron itself, so it should be a very easy Baron dance for them to win out against Box Esports and just force them to an unsolvable problem.
Yeah, and let's take another look at the items. Actually, ADC items not too far apart. Like, there's a bit of extra armor penetration. Okay, now it's a full item. Never mind. Now the item was just
it's just one full LDR.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the case a few seconds ago, to be fair.
I'm just kidding.
But mid lane is actually in favor of Nugu slightly. Actually, kind of even. But top lane is another huge difference. But then again, Husmid, pretty squishy champion. If you get on top of him, if you eliminate the top laner by maybe Sunma Flash ulting on top of him, you get rid of a lot of gold there. That's probably like 12, 13k gold underneath Husmid, so maybe Husmid is actually the target he should aim for, because he's a little bit easier to kill than Shogun, I'd argue.
Speaking about that though, he got rid of a lot of chunks of the HP buff from Nugu right there with that former Empowered Shock Blast really landing, and the poke was also something that Box Esports probably can't win against Husmid, as long as Husmid is not really inting his positioning over here. And I mean, Saigon Buffalo can just wait, right? The super minions in the bot lane are starting to creep into the enemy base, and as long as they aren't really hard losing a fight,
oh,
it's
double
just
flash!
For them. Explosive cast, very underwhelming actually. But Foggy once more, he goes for the Moonfall over there. Zodiac forced to use his flash, if I remember correctly, and here the next fight was starting, forced the flash defensively for the side of Sunmer, and they can just, replay the same game ever again, right? The ultimates are down, but they got so many summoner spells, and now Box needs to respond to the bot lane push from the supers, because they are on the Nexus turrets. Will be a free Baron for Saigon Buffalo.
Very nicely played from Saigon Buffalo. Patient, just relying on their poke, relying on their positioning, using their disengage and chase potential to slowly whittle away at the health bath. And now Slows, what have you done?
Oh, Slows in the middle of the fight. Featherstone can't really keep you safe over there. Defensive unstoppable force by the side of Sunmet. He might just die anyway, not quite through the shock blast from Hasmet, but the free pick on the AD carry, the main wave clear tool, even because you have a LeBlanc in the mid lane, and this might just end the game right here. Saigon Buffalo maybe with the last push in the game.
Slows with a cardinal sin there, just overstepping when you know the enemy team is at Baron, and here is Saigon Buffalo's last push into the base.
Yeah, there it is. Hasmet going in a huge chunk, and just Zodiac falls to the play. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. Shogun now clearing up this Nexus turret. This will be the final push for the side of Saigon Buffalo. They end the game in not the most clean fashion in general against Box Esports, but they definitely show that there is still a class difference between the 5th place team and the 8th place team.